Good afternoon to you. Well, it's the 12th of December 2010. It's week number 5 of the progress. And this will be my last week before we go into Christmas. But I wanted to share with you 5 lessons that I learned this week. The first one was debt collecting. Now, if you watched my lessons last week, I was very chuffed to announce that one of the developers had actually got back to me and was going to pay me. Now, this was a developer that I'd been debt collecting for months. On Monday, I checked my bank account. On Friday, they told me that it would be paid. On Monday, I checked my bank account. The money still wasn't there. And I learned a lesson that I learned from my father many years ago. And he said, you know, Scott, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. So on Monday, I continued to phone the lady who's actually in charge of the payments. And after about 8 phone calls and many different secretaries, I realized there was a problem. And you quite soon know when you're being avoided. On Tuesday, I then had the similar problem. I finally got through to the CEO again, and he told me, no, now there was an additional problem. I had to sort out 2 things, but to give him a call back. I said, listen, I'll do that as long as I can phone you back on your mobile, and needless to say, never got hold of him again on Tuesday. So I got hold of his assistant, and I said, listen, I'm flying to Cape Town. When's his first appointment? It's 11 a.m. She said, you can't be serious. I said, I'm coming to Cape Town, and I'm not leaving until I get paid. Needless to say, I arrived at, flew down first thing Wednesday morning. I arrived at 11 a.m. I was kept waiting for quite a long time. But I saw the guy, and he actually started off, and the very first thing he said to me, it's a hell of a long way to come to be told no. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd come with an objective, and I'd come to think laterally and find solutions. And I won't go into the details of how I did it, but I finally managed to persuade him to pay me 50% now and 50% in January. I listened to what his concerns and problems were, and I gave him solutions, and we ultimately did the deal. There's one final bit to that story. He said to me, no worries, get on an airplane and we'll pay you. And I said to him, sir, I've only bought a one-way ticket. I am not leaving until I'm paid. And it's that sort of dogged persistence what ultimately gets you results. But it's also going into a meeting with an open mind, knowing what you want to achieve, going with a number of solutions so that I could sit and I could understand what it was that he was actually trying to achieve, what his concerns were, and I could provide him with solutions. And as I say, the money was in my bank, and I could finally leave and go back to Johannesburg with my objective achieved. The second lesson was the Dream 100. I've spoken to you quite a bit about marketing, and what I've actually done, the Dream 100 is where you take your top clients and you really look after them on a regular basis. You actually send them handwritten letters and you send them gifts. So what I did last week is I wrote 16 different clients. I wrote them a handwritten letter, I gave them a postcard, and I gave them a DVD, which is something of real value to them. And I really expressed how if they watch this DVD, it'll make a monumental difference to their business in 2011. So it's very much building relationships and continuing, being persistent, giving them things of value. And I will follow up with them in the new year and hopefully turn them into clients, and if I don't, I will continue to give them things of value to the point where they realize that this is just something that they can't ignore. The third thing, I sent out my Christmas email last week, which I'm sure you probably got, and there were a lot of value adds which I wanted to give to people. I wanted to give them access to Hannes Dreyer stuff. I wanted to give them access to Tony Robbins stuff. I wanted to give them access to some of the material I've done on auctions, stuff I've done on offshore property, and then even access to some of Hannes Dreyer's property software and property lessons. But you know, we had a good response to it, but I think, you know, when it comes to people, and I read it actually in the 4-Hour Work Week. It's a fantastic book that I'm reading at the moment. I would highly, highly recommend going looking at it. And he actually used a statistic there. There was a gentleman in New York City, and they did an advertisement in the newspaper, in the Wall Street Journal, and they did one advertisement with 6 different types of watches, and they did another advertisement with just one watch and a deal for both. And they were actually 6 times more successful when they only offered one product. So, you know, I think that's something very, very powerful. I know it was just before Christmas, and I was trying to give as much value as possible. But certainly from my own experience, I find that you're a lot more effective when you help people with one option, one solution, one value add that they can actually focus and concentrate on. Another big lesson I had this week, which I'm really excited about, is I'm getting really, really close to what my passion is, what I enjoy, where I need to go, what I'm going to do. And very much for me, it's about business, it's about building businesses, it's about teaching people how to build business, and ultimately it's about wealth creation through business and through property. And this is really my niche, it's what I love, and the more and more I think about it, the more I interact with people, I realize that this is what I need to be doing. This is what I love every day. It really juices me, and I'm hell of excited about 2011. I know I need a holiday, it's been a long, hard year. But, you know, in some ways I don't want to lose the momentum. I'm so excited about next year. I'm almost like a kid waiting for Christmas, and I just want to get started on 2011. But it's really good to know that I'm really getting closer and closer to my passion and ultimately my destiny and what I should be doing. The fifth problem is that of respect for myself. You know, Hannes taught me on this course that you can actually have a dysfunctional problem right from the beginning. I've had a business for over 7 years. We've been selling off-plan developments. But the problem was that we were doing all the work now and we were only getting paid in 2 years' time. And we also had no control over the quality of product that was delivered to the clients. I sat with this guy I was trying to get money with last week, and I spoke with one of his colleagues, and he said to me, I said, I'm not selling off-plan development ever again. Not unless it's very specific, very unique and out of the ordinary, and I really want to work with that person. And he said, well, what are you going to be doing? That's what you've done for 5, 6, 7 years. And I said, I know. I'm going to do whatever it takes that I've got respect for myself, and that also the people I'm working with respect me in terms of the value that I'm bringing to the entire chain. And I think that is very, very important. So my year of 2011, the thing that I'm going to keep coming back is, am I respecting myself? Am I respecting those that I'm working with? And more importantly, if I'm respecting them, are they respecting me in return for the value that I'm adding? Because I'm sure that's going to make a huge difference. And like in the 4-hour work week, it's the 80-20 rule. I'm only going to work with the 20% where I'm getting the most productivity, and also the one where I'm getting the most enjoyment and not having to deal with firefighting and people that don't respect me. So ladies and gentlemen, those are my 5 lessons it's pretty much for 2010, to be fair. It's the 5th week. And, you know, there are a couple of days left in this next week before the 16th of December when I'm on holiday for 3 weeks. I'm going to spend the next couple of days writing down my goals for 2011, doing all my budgets, doing my cash flows. I'm going to write down the 12 most critical things that I want to do. I've done my entire marketing plan already for 2011, when we're going to do it, what we're going to do, and how we're going to do it. So most importantly, I'm going to go on holiday knowing that I've got a plan when I come back. I sit down in January, the rubber can hit the road because I know exactly what I want to get done. So that's all from me. You can see I'm in the festive spirit here. I've got my Christmas tree. I've got my Christmas hat on. We've got a number of different Christmas parties this week, which I'm really looking forward to, both with some of our different businesses and also one of the charities that we run, Tree, which trains children in early childhood education. And we run a Christmas tree party every year to raise money for charity. But that's all from me. I hope this has added huge value to you. I hope it's inspired you. I hope it showed you what's possible. If it has been of any value to you, give it to your friends and family. Imagine what a difference it will make in their lives. And most importantly for yourself, please take action. Take time now over the holiday period to think about what it is you want to achieve in 2011. Write it down. You've got a much higher statistical chance, more than 93% of actually getting results if you write it down. But most importantly, just like with the formula for riches, get a very clear intent. Have the belief so that in January 2011 you can focus on what you need to achieve so that you can get the results. Have an amazing Christmas. Here's to a fabulous New Year's. And I personally want you to have the best year you've ever had in 2011, because I plan to. Thank you very much, and I look forward to updating you and keeping you on progress as to what we're doing in 2011. Cheers, and have a great Christmas.